Hello, everybody. This is Karina from Stroke Surviving the Odds, the podcast. The mission of the show is really to move forward from the events of the stroke, learn how to adapt and reclaim your life and your identity, your new identity. And today's guest has done a 360 shift completely. Beautiful man, has a lot of things to say, a lot of insightful things. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Greg Graham.
Hey, Karina, how you doing today?
Hello, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I've been wanting to talk to you for so long. Oh, I lost you for a minute.
I'm here.
So, Greg, you're in Panama, right?
Right now, I'm in Panama, yes.
You are so lucky. I'm in Canada and we have a lot of snow. I have a couple of broken ribs right now, and you are swimming like a little fish. Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about you, Greg. A little bit of the old Greg. I want to know Greg. I don't want to know the stroke survivor Greg. I want to know Greg.
Okay, that's a very interesting concept because I don't really call myself Greg anymore. And you say you want to know the old Greg, so that's basically talking about the person that doesn't exist anymore. Like what I call myself now is the AVM superhero, and we could talk about that later. But Greg was a man um, to the time of age of 41 when he had his AVM rupture. He was married. He was a provider, sole provider of his family. He lived in Atlanta, father of two daughters, and he was married at the time. I had multiple businesses, and I also own rental properties in the United States. Uh, but that particular person wasn't real with who he was as a person. He was not in touch with what he is supposed to do in his life, his purpose, and he was trying to get over anybody that he could have.
Ooh, wow. We can tell that you've done a lot of soul searching for that. Wow, that's deep what you just said, AVM superhero. That is very deep. And how do you feel about that guy now that you are progressing as the AVM superhero, as the man that you are meant to be, that you're supposed to be? How do you connect to that man there?
That old man or the AVM superhero?
Yeah, the old man,
I
sorry.
don't know if I necessarily connect with him anymore because I don't know who he is. As just a person that was a facade, was a person that wanted to please others, and
Mm.
understanding of this is what a man is supposed to be. But once everything is taken away from you, and your ability to walk, your ability to take care of yourself, the ability to wipe your butt, you get humbled
Yeah.
quickly. Um,
Oh, yeah.
and then you understand what type of person you are and what type of person you want to become. So I don't know how to relate to that old person anymore.
Love it. Do you find that you became more humbled?
Humble is an interesting word. I don't know if I became more humbled, but I became more aware and I became more knowledgeable of what I did to other people.
Wow, that is, again, very deep. Very deep. I told you guys that AVM superhero, old Greg, had a lot to talk about, a lot of insight, a lot of he's done a lot of growing up. And the podcast is all about us acknowledging and taking accountability for our before life and our new life and stepping into it. And that is exactly what you did, my friend. I'm very proud of you for that. And I have to ask, so Susan is your wife?
I'm not married.
I'm nosy. Okay, well, okay, no problem, no problem. As long as you feel loved and supported for the man that you are today.
Absolutely.
for the man that you are today. And who are you today?
Who am I? That's a great question because I don't think a lot of people understand that question. I am the the spirit or the energy observing this person that's taking up this body at this particular time. That's who I am.
You care to elaborate? Because that's something that you and I, these are understanding that you and I have that are like many people, but the cognitively challenged, that's what I noticed this week. Cognitively challenged stroke survivors have a hard time understanding where we come from. And sometimes, and I've done a podcast episode on that recently because I felt guilty of that. Many people didn't understand things that I talk about. So can you elaborate it more on a understandable and common, if for lack of a better word?
Okay. I think the concept of who am I, a lot of people get confused because they take events and that describes who they are. So they'll say, I'm a father, or I'm a mother, or I'm an educator. But these are things that you became. You wasn't always that particular person. So when a person asks me, who am I am that essence that really is unattainable. You can't describe it. It's not really a tangible thing. I'm just in this body that changes throughout my whole life because one time I was no more than 1 foot tall. Now I'm 6'4". So that changed. And I
Wow.
observed all these things as a essence of what you see in front of you. So case in point, when a person dies, their body's still there, that husk is still there, but what that essence is, they can't calibrate that. They can't capture that and put it into another vessel. So that's what I am. I'm
Yeah.
that. I'm observing what's
Wow.
happening and I'm living in the moment.
I love, thank you for that explanation. And I love how you stopped identifying quickly. From what I'm hearing, you stopped identifying with that man and you stopped identifying with the stroke survivor, and you embraced who you are.
All right.
I think that's very aware of what you want and what you need to become. So once you knew you were no longer Greg and you became this superhero that really was fighting and that became bigger than life and larger than life for himself, his own life. When you did that, how did it feel inside of you when you said, shit?
Well, it wasn't a revolution just like that. It was an evolution. It was a very long process because I had a lot of great people in my recovery that I attribute to who you see today. I had this one person, I never met her before, but she was from the same town I was, that I grew up in New York. I lived in Atlanta.
Okay.
And
Okay.
she saw one of my posts, and it was a post that I put out there on Facebook that shows my car being towed away after my stroke. And I put in a
Okay.
comment saying, everything is taken away from me. My life is gone. I'm going through a divorce. I'm not able to kiss my daughters goodnight anymore. I don't have health insurance. My car is being taken away. And what she said to me was very profound. I felt like beating her up, but it was very profound. She said, congratulations. And I'm like,
Wow.
congratulations. Why are you telling me congratulations? Because you're starting over and you got a chance to write your own script, write your own story.
Wow, she said
Yeah.
that?
So these are the type of people that I have involved myself or actually had the chance or opportunities to be around with. So when that happened to me, all of a sudden I started to stop complaining and starting to manifest what I wanted to in my life. And I realized that what my mind is thinking, eventually my body's going to actually get to that point, or my reality is going to transform into that point. So that's what I started doing. So at first, I was in the hospital bed when I had my stroke. I was handcuffed to the hospital bed in Louisville, Kentucky, about 6 hours away from my home. So I was with no family because I kept on pulling out my feeding tube. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't walk. And then my mother came to the hospital and said, "You about to go back home to your loving wife?" I'm like, "We're not really in good terms." Like, I didn't know that. So then we got a divorce. So now I'm sleeping on other people's couches, but I knew that I'll be able to do the things that I need to do and to be successful in my life because I wanted to see the world. So then I moved back to New York. I moved to Jamaica. Now I'm in Panama. But all of this is done by the manifestation of what happened to me in that hospital room. I didn't say my life is over. I'm saying my life is
Come here.
done.
I'm so
No, you're
sorry.
fine.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This guy wants to come by. Sorry about
What's his
that.
name?
Wow. His name is Einstein.
Einstein. How you doing, Einstein?
Yes, and he really, really is stepping into a great support dog, I'll tell
Oh, he
you.
is a support dog. Great.
Do you have pets?
I do not. I do not.
No?
No. I travel very.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I've always had dogs, but Einstein is very, very, he feels everything that I feel. And yesterday was the first time in a very long time I had a panic attack, and he right away caught on to it and didn't let me go until I got back. So if you want to get a pet, get a pet.
Absolutely.
You said something interesting. Let's go back to what you said.
Okay.
You said you were handcuffed to a bed when you woke up.
Yes.
You knew I would pick up on that. I have to ask, if it's too personal, you tell me, Karina, I don't want to talk about it. But what did you mean? Are you talking about police handcuffs or security handcuffs?
So yeah, so let me rephrase that. I wasn't handcuffed at
Yes.
I was a criminal. I was restrained to my bed by hand
Thank you.
restraints because I kept on pulling my feeding tube out my nose. I pulled it out twice. So in order for me
Oh,
to my
no.
feeding tube, they restrained me to my bed 24 hours.
Okay, because there's a difference between being handcuffed and being restrained. So I understand. You were being a bad boy.
No, not in the sense of
You were pulling your, yes, it's scary to wake up. And what was your first thought when you woke up and were you in a, how did the stroke happen?
So I had what's called an AVM. AVM is arteriovenous malformation. Only 1% of the world population has this particular condition, and they are conceived with it. So it could be anywhere in their body. Mine was in my cerebellum. And what happened, I was driving home from one of my jobs that I had. I was a hauler of camper RVs trailers throughout the United States and also Canada. And the place
Okay.
that they manufactured it was in Elkhart, Indiana. That's about 10 hours away from where I live in Atlanta. So I was coming back home talking to my mother on the phone. And then all of a sudden, I had this excruciating headache. And I was telling my mother about it. I was like, "Ma, I got this headache." And I tried to alleviate it with drinking water. It wouldn't go away. And I started bemoaning very loud. And she was like, "Oh, baby, something's wrong with you. You need to hang up the phone and call 911." So I'm in the middle.
Really?
Yeah. I was in the middle of Kentucky, very remote part of Kentucky. And I called 911 and my mom had to hang up the phone. And ambulance came and picked me up. I almost filled up my truck because I couldn't walk at this particular time. They didn't know that I couldn't walk. And I almost went into ongoing traffic, but luckily the guy was big enough to hold me up and bring me into the ambulance. And I never fell asleep. I never got unconscious. I got to one hospital that told me that I had a stroke. You had pretty much an aneurysm rupture, and you need to go to another hospital. And when they told me
Yes.
that, I was like, "That's like an hour and a half away. How am I going to get there?" They said, "We're going to airlift you." So they took me there. And when I got there, they did an embolization while doing through the operation, like an angiogram going through my groin to work on my brain. And no, I never fell asleep or I became unconscious.
Okay.
Became,
Okay.
yes, unconscious is because they drugged me up to actually put me to sleep.
Do Yes, do the surgery. So you were never really in coma or anything. You were conscious throughout the whole thing.
Correct.
Were you scared?
I thought I was going to die.
Oh my God. I can only imagine that you're awake through this whole thing. You're communicating with the doctor that's telling you we got to send you to another place. I mean, wow, wow. That gives me goosebumps right there. Because sometimes it's better to be asleep when something happens like that. Like I was asleep. I had no awareness of anything. I was on a drifting in and out of coma. So thank God, because I would have panicked. But you're a very chilled man.
Oh, well, I'm being a little bit coy because I think you asked me another question earlier about how that change was for me. I think at that particular moment, I was kind of happy that I was up because before my stroke, I was arguing with my ex-wife and I had very lot of malice, jealousy, and all that stuff. But when I thought I was going to die, none of that was there. Like jealousy wasn't there, evil thoughts wasn't there. All that stuff that people live with wasn't around. So I said to myself, if I survive this, I'm not gonna live this way anymore.
Wow, wow, okay. Wow.
So I was comfortable.
If I survive this, I'm not living like this anymore.
Nope.
That's a choice right away. That's a decision and a choice you made right away. And you held on to that self-promise, if you will.
Because and you said you was knocked out for yours, but for me, it was like jumping off a building and you don't have a parachute and you know you're about to hit the ground and die. That's how it felt. But somewhere or another, I got pulled out of that situation and I survived. So when I was going through that, I wasn't scared of dying. Death was easy. Like I truly understand how easy it is to die. Living is hard because you got all these things that you have to think about, all these problems, issues, but dying is very easy and it's very
It is.
it's
Comforting.
comforting because you don't know
Ooh.
what's going to happen, but you're not scared. Your life flashes through your eyes
I
and you see your children, you see the good moments, see the bad moments, but you're not scared.
I think I relate to what you're saying, and it's the first time that someone says it that way. But you're right, you're not scared. When I was drifting in and out of coma, whether I was at home when I woke up or in the ambulance or at hospital number 1, hospital number 2, hospital number 3, I was not scared.
Right.
And some people tell me, you must have been scared. And I was like, I was at peace.
Right.
I was at peace.
Right.
But like you, when I woke up though, I said like you, I am not gonna continue. And why not me? Yeah, everybody around me was saying, why me? Why Karina? Why Karina? Did that happen to you? The people around you, how did they influence your wanting to change?
That's a very interesting question because I was the type of person that was, I guess you would call the ambassador of the family. People,
Yeah.
pretty much the middle child, but they look at me, even my parents look at me as I'm the oldest. So they didn't say, why you? They said, why not you? Because you're the one that can handle something like this.
Oh my God. Wow. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You see how, wow, your family actually said that. That's amazing. And that's a testament to who you are as a man. They, and you are so calm, so chilled, and I mean, I feel when I listen to your social media posts and your videos, I hear serenity. You're someone I enjoy listening to because you not only embody, but you give peace. Seriously. I'm not kidding. I was just watching, I think it's today's post that you did, where you said in the morning you do memory games because memory's affected after stroke.
Mhm.
And I'm a big one on that too. I love those memory games. I don't want to lose my memory, but just hearing you, and I listened to it 3 times.
Oh, cool.
Seriously, I listened to it 3 times because it's very soothing.
Okay.
It's very soothing to hear your ease in maybe it's the wrong word, your acceptance.
Okay.
I feel like you're accepting a lot.
I don't know if I will use that word accepting because I don't accept anything really. I don't complain and I live in the moment because I have noticed early on my stroke recovery, I was going through depression a lot and I could tell what was actually causing my depression. I could see that spiral starting to happen. And then when I get into that spiral, I realized 2 weeks has passed and everything I needed to do was not getting done because I went into that deep depression. So instead of um, allowing myself to do those things, I just stop. Like you're floating in the ocean, I just stop and let the current take me. And wherever it's going to take me, I'm good.
You adapt. You're the definition of a chameleon.
Okay.
A chameleon, you adapt. Well, that's what chameleons do, right?
I do.
And I find that stroke survivors, we need to be chameleons.
Absolutely.
We need to adapt no matter what happens. And I love that you're emphasizing to the audience, to the listeners, to the people that are viewing this, you're emphasizing that how important it is to be present.
Absolutely.
Wherever you said, wherever I am, I'm good.
I can't complain. What's the point of complaining? Because after I complain, I still have to deal with my issues.
Uh-huh. Yep. Amen.
Nobody cares. Like, honestly, like, really, you really think about it? As a stroke survivor, nobody really cares that you're a stroke survivor. They might come over, hang out with you, and stay with a couple of hours, but once they leave, you're still a stroke survivor, and they go about their life. So why do you just waste time complaining how bad this stuff is and just reinvent yourself to become something different?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I like to use the expression "no use crying over spilled milk."
Mm.
Like you're saying, no use complaining. You're still going to be that way, right? Until you do something about it. So it's the same thing. We mean the same thing. We just say it differently. And now the people have 2 different ways to hear it. I just want to go back a second to when you said that your family were the ones saying, why not you? Because you're the one who could handle this. Right. And I want, again, the audience and listeners to see the difference. Your family was like rooting for you, you know? And my family was also rooting for me in their own way, right? I had to figure it out many years after the fact, but I would hear in the hospital while I couldn't talk and I was corked with a trach, I could hear them say, poor Karina, she's so young. Why her? She didn't do anything. Why? And I remember after a week or 2 of being in the ICU, hearing them and being fed up of hearing them complaining what you just talked about. And a switch happened in my head that said, why not me? I'm Karina. And it's funny, what I'm trying to say is, it's funny because people viewed me like people viewed you, right? But your people, your family, your friends, they got you and they said, You got this. And mine was still in the crying process.
Mm,
So I'm finding it interesting how our, you don't agree?
no, no, no.
You don't see that
I'm
way?
not disagreeing with what you have gone through. I'm just trying to correct exactly what I am saying to you. When I say family, I'm not saying my whole entire family. I just had certain people in my family because some people were
I get that.
negative things too. But I had this thing called, and my brother used to tease me about this, they called Team Greg. And these people on Team Greg is going to fight for you. So the things that I had,
Love it.
the things I had in my life, I had like I don't believe in coincidences. It's just everything's happening for a reason. Like my mother
Yep.
just retired from working from a nursing home, and she was working with stroke survivors. So she knew exactly how to deal with me. So
Oh my
when this
God.
happened, she's the one that came to me and was like, "You got this. I know you got this." Everybody else was out of control, but I'm looking at her as a stone wall, and she's like, "Hey, I know my baby. My baby got this. This is what you're gonna do. You got
I
more in the
love
back of your head.
her.
We're gonna wear that as a badge of honor. We're not gonna be that
That and a feather in your hat.
feather in my hat." So I had certain people that I gravitated to because I could tell the energy was right. That's one thing that I'm sorry I didn't really have
Okay.
earlier, but I was able to um, see who had healing energy and who people that didn't have proper energy, like they was,
Love it.
and she
Love
was one of the
it.
people that had that healing energy. You could feel it through her touch, through her words, and those are the people I gravitated to. And I try to stay away from the negativity.
I love your mom. I love her. I don't know her. I'm probably never going to meet her, but just the essence of what you describe, I love it. And no, nothing happens for no reason. Everything happens for a reason. And wow, that is amazing. And I didn't want to steal the show or anything. I think that you and I had conversations in the past where we kind of compare our stories and our upbringings, and and it allows this to see the difference,
Absolutely.
is allowing the audience. And now I'm going to ask you an important question.
Shoot.
Like, see, a lot of stroke survivors, various stroke survivors, have a hard time with their family. Like, you had a team, you had the group, you stayed away from negative people or toxic people or people that were still sucking energy, and you had Team Greg. A lot of stroke survivors have a hard time identifying,
Right.
okay, Team Joe Blow, okay, and feel guilty about, and I know you can help people with that. They feel guilty about staying away from energy vampires and toxic people. And you were capable of differentiating them right away. What piece of information, what piece of advice could you give stroke survivors?
Well, that's a very deep topic, but one thing comes to my mind right now. When my earliest part of my recovery, I was reaching out to different people before I even got on social media. I was reaching out to different people, and this one nonprofit organization, I can't even remember who they are, but I was talking to this lady, and I was telling her, I was like, "Man, I'm going through a divorce. I can't believe my ex-wife is doing this to me." Da 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 da. And she said, "Gregory, for your healing, forgive her, because she doesn't know what she's doing." So now I'm going back to Bible verses when Jesus was on the cross. It says, "Forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they do." So now I'm looking at them like, all this stuff is not a coincidence. This is all something I'm supposed to learn from, and I learned from that. So it's more about stop saying people are doing things to you, and then start looking at why did you allow people to do those things to you? What attracted you to those type of people? And that makes it more about you have to making these transformations versus they need to change.
That's amazing advice, and that is not to be taken with a grain of salt. We have to look within.
Absolutely.
On Stroke Survivor, like I made a post yesterday in regards to what you just said. Some people have been in their businesses or have been doing their jobs for 20, 30 years, and all of a sudden they're not fulfilled anymore. They don't like it anymore. And then I said, it's okay. Don't sweat it, but look within yourself. What has changed within you? What values changed in the last few while that makes you not like that job anymore? And you either make that job like it again, or you change completely. And as stroke survivors, that's exactly, look within. If you don't like it, change it completely or make it better.
Right. That's why
Wow.
it baffles me when I hear people say, I want to get back to that old person before my stroke. I'm like, first of all, yeah, even if you make 100% full recovery physically, what you have learned from this stroke, you will never forget those particular things. It's going to be very hard for you to, unless you have memory issues, it's going to be very hard for you to forget that you as a grown person learn how to walk again. That's
Wow.
an experience that you
Yep.
cannot get rid of. That is very humbling. Like, learn how
Oh my God.
to speak
Yes.
again as a grown person, and you have a degree, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, and you have to turn into a baby all over again at that old age. How can you get rid of that?
Yep.
So when you say you want to get back to that old person, you mentally are not that person anymore.
No. And it's funny because at the beginning of all this, you had mentioned Greg
Mm-hmm.
and how you're not him anymore, and how Greg was maybe a little self-centered or did things to make other people happy and all that. And what I think about when people say I want to get back to my old life was, I feel like saying it, but I don't know how to say it without sounding arrogant, so I just don't say it. But was your old life that special and that good that you want to go back to it? Because my life was not that good, and your life, you didn't like your life.
Oh, I probably missed.
Well, you liked
I
it, but
liked it at the
aspects.
time. I liked it at the time. It was comfortable. I thought I was doing what I needed to do, but then
There you go.
things changed, and I'm like, that was
Yeah.
a waste of time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I got what you said, superhero. I get Greg, superhero. I legally get Greg. I get what you were saying, but I'm just abbreviating that you didn't want to be part of that man anymore, that life anymore. You had comfort, you had luxuries, probably. You had a good, comfortable life, but you as a person,
I was dead inside.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Absolutely.
And I got you. So on another note, you told me some exciting news that I want you to tell us about your coaching program.
Okay. Oh, so what? I've been very coy or very laid back about this for many years because I want to make sure that it is right, and I also want to the main reason that and I didn't say this during the time that I was talking about my stroke and when I had, I was ready to die. I was good to die, and people say they hear voices or they go through all the things that they're going through in life. I did that and everything checked off is okay for me to die. But then I thought about my two daughters. One was 12 and one was 11. I was like, I can't die yet. God, give me another chance so I could teach them things to be adult, to be a part of society. So I wanted them to get old enough. And now they're old enough. They're 21 and 20. And now I want them to actually have this as a remembrance of their father and how important it is to help out other people that don't have everything. So this coaching thing that I'm doing now is based off of second chances. What happens when you want to reinvent yourself after stroke and you don't know how to? So it talks about the death of that old person, how to take the information that you had. Maybe you might have been a model and you had a stroke, and you probably say, "Oh, I can't get in high heels no more." But there's something that you had that was a model that was can't. Sorry, that can't be taken away from you, such as confidence. You have to be very confident to actually walk down that aisle and run with, or take pictures, whatever. So take that confidence and reinvent it into something else that could be a positive way for you to recover. Um, Also, manifestation. How do you manifest? How do you see things before it actually happens? So I learned these particular techniques and I want to share it with other people. So I'm going to give you a story of how I understood manifestation and why it's so
Yeah.
important to me now. Um, it was very weird because I'm a strong believer. What you say and what you talk about or what you view is your reality. It's gonna keep on coming back into your reality.
Oh, yeah.
So when I was driving back and forth to Indiana, I was going through. I don't know if you are familiar with the states in the United States, but I was going through the state of Kentucky, and in one particular
Okay.
city called Louisville, where the Kentucky Derby
Yes.
is at, as well as the University of Louisville. And I used to drive through there, and I was like, "Wow, this is a very beautiful city." You know, the campus is all colors of the school mascot. I love it. One day, I'm gonna take my family and friends and bring them here so they can see how beautiful this city is. And don't you know, I had my stroke, and I am in the hospital for 6 weeks in Louisville, Kentucky. And my
No way.
family
Shut the front door.
came there to see it. I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. Like, I manifested this. It wasn't the way that I wanted to, but I didn't put no criteria on. I just said I'm gonna bring my family here one day. And sure enough, they was like, this is the first time I've ever been to Louisville. I'll never come here, and I probably will never come back here again. But
Oh my God. I got chills again,
so
dude.
once I understood that, I understood how powerful my words were. It was more powerful than my action because a lot of times I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just doing things crazy, but I know what I speak of means something.
Wow. So the word manifestation, what is your not the dictionaries, your definition of it? How do you describe it? Manifesting.
That's a very interesting question, and I don't really have a concrete answer to that. But I have done a lot of studying with different people that have more understanding of it than me. Heard of
Mm-hmm.
this man named Dr. Joe Dispenza?
Yes.
So he has this thing called "You Are the Placebo Effect" and also breaking the habit of being yourself. And he goes
Yeah.
into the quantum theory or quantum fields of how you can actually manifest your health, your future, by just thinking of those particular things and making it gravitate to you, such as what's that thing? I can't remember the book called, so I won't quote it. So, with that being said, manifestation to me is what you think of, what you speak of, can come into reality. You don't have to tangibly have it. You don't have to tangibly see it. But if your mind can see it, it's going to gravitate towards that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I say it's funny the story you just said, wow, about saying I'm gonna bring my family to Louisville, and it wasn't in the way you wanted, but it
Right.
happened. And I find that when we send out to the universe in order to manifest things, the universe doesn't send what we want. It sends what we need. And I think that Greg needed to become a superhero.
I agree.
So I know that for many people that are going to be watching this or hearing this, they're going to be annoyed by the fact that we found, or you especially, not we, I'm sorry, you found the positive out of it. A lot of people are still very bitter of having a stroke, but you found the positive. Again, there's no use complaining. You made things happen. You manifested things. You thought things. Now you're touching them tangibly. So your program, I love the legacy aspect. You incorporate your daughters in there. That's beautiful. You know, we see on social media people that are coaching or they're getting coaching programs out there. And I never once heard the word legacy. And you didn't say the word, but you wanted to incorporate your daughters. And you want them to become like your mom and like you. And I think that's really, really beautiful.
Thank you.
Really beautiful. And I can see that not only you're a good man and you're a sensible man, but I could see you're leading by examples. Your girls were younger. How do you think you led by example your daughters?
Whew, that's a very interesting thing because you know you're raising girls that's about to become teenagers. So I was never in the house with no teenagers. Because
Okay.
go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
So for me, first I was trying to become their friend, and that didn't work out. And then I realized I don't have to do the things that I did before, like buying them things and making sure that I stay up with them to do their homework because I wasn't able to do that. But what I did was I stopped complaining and I started giving myself back to the society. So during COVID, I used to give out every month a caregiver package to caregivers out of my own money. Each and every month, I would have a lottery, and I probably did it for 5 years. Also, probably about 60 to 70 different people all throughout the United States. And they saw that. And my goal was to help out other people because I know how hard it is as a caregiver to take care of a stroke survivor. But I also wanted them to see that, hey, if I decide to get married to a man one day and he's a deadbeat that doesn't want to do anything, they could go back and say, what do you complain about? My dad had a stroke and he touched the lives of all these people in the world. What is your excuse? So I led by my examples of how to be a person instead of laying on my morals of a stroke survivor and just letting life pass me by.
Love it, love it, love it. You went, you gave back to society, you gave yourself back to society, and that was a proof to them that if that can make it, anybody can.
Exactly.
I think that, well, do you have any final words? Or
Sorry.
because I think I thoroughly love your energy, and I really love the it's not an interview, it's a chat. It's a chat. I don't want it to be an interview. Asking question makes it an interview. but I thoroughly enjoyed our time together.
Right.
Yes, I'd be okay with ending today's show with your beautiful daughters and really the kind words, but it's up to you. Is there something you want stroke survivors to know?
Yes.
A message?
Yes. The message that you should take from this conversation is your recovery is really on you and how you actually view it. Like Karina was saying today, that we both have different perspectives, but it came to the same conclusion. And you have to take your recovery, understand what your limitations are, what your goals are, and don't be a stumbling block to yourself. Go and achieve them.
Love it. That's amazing advice. Amazing. I look forward to seeing your coaching program in the next few months, I think.
Stroke Awareness Month in May.
That is going to be phenomenal. Thank you so much, AVM Superhero. Where can people get in touch with you?
If you want to find me and follow me on social media or my email. Everything is basically AVM Superhero, one word. AVM Superhero
Okay.
on Gmail, AVM Superhero on TikTok, uh, YouTube, Facebook, as well as Instagram. So if you want to follow me, check me out there. I'm there and I answer questions.
You guys got that? You guys got that? If not, hit the replay button or the rewind button rather. So I think that me and Superhero here, we are going to end our time together here. We don't want to overload you with information, but just know that the podcast is audio on Spotify, iTunes, and Apple, Google Podcasts too. Make sure you download. That way you can listen to it while you are doing your own recovery and your own rehabilitation. We have the video podcast on YouTube as well. And I do the same as you, Greg. I do the same as you, where everything is conducive and is very coherent, and it's Stroke Surviving the Odds, the podcast on each and every platform. Guys, remember that I love you immensely. Again, I want to thank our guest today. If you would like to be a guest, you can reach out to me on any of my platforms, and I'd be more than happy to pencil you in. That being said, love you guys.